Hey there, welcome back to Event Trends by Eventify. I'm Kevin Rosenquist, and this is part 2 of our hybrid event series. So in part 1, we covered why hybrid events have become the industry standard. We're talking 97% of event professionals saying they're essential for the future. We walked through the entire planning timeline from 6 months out to event week, and we talked about the critical importance of designing experiences specifically for both your in-person and virtual audiences. Now, in part 2, I want to show you how this actually works in practice, because it's one thing to talk about strategy, it's another to see real events that crushed it and learn exactly what they did. So today we're diving into real-world examples from companies and events you know, Coachella, Microsoft, CES, Apple, and I'm going to pull out the specific tactics they used that you can apply to your own events. Then we'll talk about keeping people engaged, overcoming challenges, and where this is all headed with emerging technology. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's jump in. All right, so let's look at some events that absolutely crushed the hybrid format. I'm going to give you some examples across different event types so you can see what's possible in your industry. Let's start with music and entertainment. Coachella 2022. This one genuinely blew my mind. Coachella partnered with Unreal Engine to create augmented reality overlays during their YouTube live stream. So people at the festival grounds are experiencing live music in person. They're feeling that energy, that crowd, right? But people watching from home weren't just getting a standard concert stream. They got this layered AR experience with interactive visuals, graphics, and digital elements that you couldn't even see in person. The insight here is that the virtual experience wasn't just good enough. It was actually different and equally cool. They created unique value for digital attendees instead of just trying to replicate being there. Now here's an example of a corporate event, Microsoft's FY26 GTM Kickoff. This happened earlier this year, and it's a masterclass in hybrid execution. Microsoft had their core leadership team gather at a main venue for the kickoff. But here's what made it work. They streamed sessions globally with on-demand recordings available in 32 languages. 32! They created this centralized event hub where employees from every office, whether you're in Seattle, Singapore, or Sao Paulo, could access the same training, resources, and product updates simultaneously. Everyone stayed aligned, everyone got the same message, and Microsoft saved probably millions in travel costs. The takeaway? Use hybrid to solve real business problems, not just because it's trendy. Now, one of my favorite trade show examples is the Consumer Electronics Show, or CES, in 2021. They went hybrid and attracted over 200,000 attendees from different countries. They had nearly 2,000 exhibitors who set up virtual booths where you could explore products, watch live demos, download spec sheets, and chat with sales reps in real time. If you're planning a trade show and thinking, there's no way this works virtually, people need to touch products, CES proved you can create valuable experiences online. And the hybrid format actually let them reach way more people than they ever could with just a physical show. Plus, exhibitors got incredible data on booth visitors, engagement time, and which products generated the most interest. Data you don't get from someone just walking by your booth at a physical event. Now, if there's one company that understands product launches, it's Apple. They have a small physical audience, but they're broadcasting globally. And what makes it work is that virtual attendees aren't just passively watching. They're interacting through live commentary. They're participating in polls. They use AR features to explore products on their own devices. Apple treats the virtual audience as active participants, not passive viewers. And that's what keeps engagement high, even though most people are watching from home. And of course, there's academic conferences like LOPSTR 2022. This was held in Tbilisi, Georgia, and they used hybrid to solve a real problem: travel barriers for international scholars. Researchers could either present and attend in person, or they could join virtually. They had live sessions, stream talks, and interactive Q&A sessions. The hybrid model significantly boosted participation because academics who couldn't travel, whether due to funding, visa issues, or teaching commitments, could still contribute to the conversation. That's hybrid solving a real access problem. Here's one called the hub and spoke model. Tech Changes Global Digital Health Forum is a really cool model I want you to think about. They had a central hub broadcasting the main content, but then they set up satellite watch party locations in Indonesia, Kenya, St. Lucia, and Chile. And here's the key. These weren't just passive viewing sites. They were two-way. The satellite locations were sharing content back to the main event, presenting local case studies, asking questions, and creating this global conversation. It built local community while maintaining that global connection. Now let's talk about ongoing engagement. MozCon, the SEO conference, records all their sessions and sells them as video bundles, so the event keeps generating value and revenue long after it ends. People who missed it live can still access all the content. People who attended can revisit the sessions. That's smart because you're not just throwing away all that content after the event, you're turning it into an evergreen resource. So, what do all these events have in common? They treated both audiences as equally important. They created unique value for each group instead of just broadcasting the in-person experience. And they used technology to enhance the experience, not just replicate it. That's your blueprint. Okay, your event is live. Now, how do you keep people engaged, especially virtual attendees who have email, Slack, social media, and their cat all competing for their attention? Well, here's your engagement toolkit. First, interactive tools. Use these throughout, not just at the end. Live polls during sessions. What's your biggest challenge with event planning? Vote now. How about Q&A windows where both in-person and virtual attendees can submit questions? Or real-time chat that's actively moderated, not just ignored. Virtual hand raising so people can signal they want to contribute. And of course, I love gamification. Leaderboards tracking participation and engagement, like who's asking questions, attending sessions, or networking. You could have quizzes and challenges related to your content with prizes for top scorers, or virtual scavenger hunts where people find clues hidden across your platform. You can have prize drawings for active participants. I've even seen events use gamification to completely transform their engagement. People go from passively watching to actively hunting for answers, competing with each other, staying present throughout the entire event. And of course, there's networking opportunities. Breakout rooms for topic-specific discussions, like all the marketing directors join room 3. Virtual networking lounges that mirror in-person networking breaks. One-on-one video chat features for scheduled meetings. Mobile apps that facilitate connections across both audiences. Nobody wants to network in a Zoom call with 500 people. You need to create intimate spaces where real conversations can happen. Speaker training. This is crucial. Train your speakers to acknowledge virtual attendees specifically. For those joining online, I'd love to hear from you in the chat. Pause for virtual questions, not just room questions. Look directly at the camera when addressing online attendees. Reference online comments and questions by name. When speakers only address everyone here in the room today, virtual attendees immediately feel like second-class citizens. Don't let that happen. Have a dedicated virtual moderator. Assign someone whose entire job is championing your virtual audience. They monitor the online chat constantly, surface good questions to speakers, troubleshoot technical issues immediately, and make sure virtual attendees feel seen and heard. If you're trying to host the event and manage both audiences yourself, something will slip, I guarantee it. Social media integration. Create an event hashtag and encourage both audiences to use it. Run photo contests. Best setup from your home office. Give live shoutouts to people posting about the event. Create a social media wall displaying posts in real time. This creates energy and FOMO that keeps people engaged and sharing your event with their networks. And let's be real, hybrid events come with challenges. Here are the big ones and how you can handle them. First, balancing both experiences. 49% of event marketers say creating an equally excellent experience for both audiences is their biggest barrier. The solution isn't trying to make the experience identical, it's creating unique value for each group. In-person attendees get face-to-face networking and room energy. Virtual attendees get convenience and different interactive tools. Both are valuable in different ways. Challenge number 2 is managing those time zones. Your global audience is spread across every time zone. The solution? Offer key sessions live at multiple times, or make sure everything's available on demand. Don't force someone in Sydney to wake up at 3 a.m. for your keynote. Challenge 3, technical difficulties. Something will go wrong. A mic will cut out. A stream will buffer. Have a dedicated tech support team ready. Have backup equipment. Test everything multiple times. Your attendees will forgive a brief glitch if you handle it professionally. At number 4, hybrid logistics. 42% of marketers say managing hybrid logistics is a major challenge. Coordinating the AV, internet, streaming, in-person registration, virtual check-in, all simultaneously. The solution is detailed planning and a really solid team with clear responsibilities. Now let's talk about the future because this is evolving fast. AI is transforming everything. Hot take, I know. Use AI-powered networking that matches attendees based on interests. You should connect with Sarah. She's working on the same challenges. Real-time language translation makes language barriers disappear. Predictive analytics can help you understand attendee behavior and optimize content. And how about immersive technology? VR and AR, where virtual attendees can literally walk through digital venues. And virtual exhibit booths, where you interact with products in 3D. Augmented reality overlays that enhance live presentations. And this has a sustainability focus. Hybrid events reduce carbon footprints by up to 2/3. As companies prioritize sustainability, hybrid becomes the obvious choice. And also, events won't be one-off moments. They'll anchor year-round digital communities where people keep connecting and engaging. Your event becomes the tentpole for ongoing relationships. All right, so let's bring this whole thing home. We've covered a lot across these two parts. In part one, we talked about why hybrid events are the new industry standard, and we walked through the entire planning process from 6 months out. And then in part two today, we looked at some real examples. Coachella with AR, Microsoft coordinating 32 languages, CES with 200,000 attendees, Apple's interactive product launches, and innovative models like hub and spoke events. We covered specific engagement tactics you can use and how to overcome the big challenges. Here's what I want you to take away. Hybrid events work when you design intentionally for both audiences, when you use technology to enhance rather than just broadcast, and when you create unique value for each group. Whether you're planning a conference, a trade show, a product launch, or a music festival, the principles are the same. You start early, you test everything, you engage both audiences actively, and you follow up strategically. And of course, if you're feeling overwhelmed, platforms like Eventify handle the heavy lifting: registration, streaming, networking, analytics, so you can focus on creating amazing experiences instead of sweating technical details. Thanks for hanging out with me on Event Trends by Eventify. If this series was helpful, share it with your event planning crew, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Until then, go plan something amazing.